Most painters will tell you that a work of art isn't really complete without a good frame.
And much like a picture without a frame, these high voltage arcs, they look really cool, but these little copper wires just kind of dangling out there, they're not really doing me any favors, and we could definitely do better.
So I built this. This is the lightning tree. This is just a little art piece that I made, and it's meant to be an attachment to my high voltage music player that I built. But unlike a picture frame, everything inside of here needs to be able to withstand voltages that will get up to about 100,000 volts. And it needs to be able to do that without catching fire, preferably without catching fire. So today I want to walk you guys through how I built this and talk about what is actually required when working with voltages in excess of 100,000 volts. So I can tell you guys how this works, but with that being said, this video is made for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please don't try this at home. I'm getting a lot better at saying that. So real quick, let's just do a crash course on what is high voltage or voltage in general. So every time we measure what we call voltage, what we're really comparing is one point to another point. It's a relative measurement.
And if there's enough of a difference of voltage between 2 points, like the ones right here, then electrons will actually start to flow through the air from one point to the other. This will generate a lot of heat and produce light, and this is what essentially an electrical arc is.
And if you just understood everything I just said, you now know how lightning works. Congratulations. What was happening is there was a difference of potential being made between this point here and this point here, and the arc was occurring at the same frequency as the audio signal that I was sending into it. And if you want to know how this works, more theory about that, I created 2 videos already explaining the theory. So go watch those ones after you're done watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe while you're on your way over there. And I'll put a link in the description down to those videos. So building something like the lightning tree isn't really that complicated, as you'll see in a minute. But all the materials that I'm going to be choosing not only have to be resistant to that 100,000 volts, they also have to be able to do that while also being essentially fireproof.
So I needed to insulate the bottom of the lightning tree from the water around it to prevent the arcs, of course, from just going right over inside the bowl. So I decided to put the candle holder inside of the bowl and have a hole that went through both, so the high voltage lead could go up from the bottom to the tree. In between the bowl and the candle holder, I decided to use some 2-part epoxy because, as well as being a really good adhesive, it is a very good electrical insulator. And I added some additional 2-part epoxy around the edge where the bowl met the candle holder just to make sure that it would seal. Next, I wound the lightning tree from some old salvaged copper wire I got from an old tube TV. I wanted the roots and branches to both look kind of old and knotted, but I only wanted the arcs to come out of the tips of the branches. So this means I would have to keep the branches wide and the roots as narrow as necessary. I kind of like that kind of spread out, spooky kind of look. So I didn't want the tree just sitting there inside the cup. I was going to add something, and I decided to go with kinetic sand because it is a very good electrical insulator, and I have the choice of different colors to add. In this case, I'm going to add green.
And for this application, the ceramic bowl and the glass are really good choices of materials because they're good electrical insulators and they can resist heat pretty good too. And I can demonstrate that here with my arc generator. So this will be like 50, 60,000 volts. So I'm going to start by testing the edge of the bowl, and then I'm going to test the glass to show you how good it is at resisting high voltage. As you can see from that arc right there, the high voltage arc would rather bend around the bowl than try to go through it. So that's good. And the same is true for the glass. So along with using the kinetic sand, I also added another layer of electrical insulation, and that came in the form of mineral oil. So mineral oil is a very good electrical insulator, and in this application it does 2 different things. First thing that it's going to do is it's going to fill all the gaps in between the sand and help prevent little straight arcs from jumping up down from the lower area where the high voltage lead is. And it's also going to allow me to have longer roots sticking out, because any roots that are closer to the edge of the cup can be submerged in mineral oil, which will prevent straight arcs from coming and jumping over the sides of the cup. And if that happens too often, where I get straight arcs that come up over the sides of the cup, eventually that heat is going to cause the glass to rupture. So for the water itself, I add a little bit of salt just to increase the conductivity Pure water on its own actually is not a great conductor of electricity, but the stuff in water, the stuff like the minerals and the salts that dissolve in it, make it a good conductor of electricity. Then I can add my water and I can add kind of like a dye or something else to it if I want to. In this case, I have a little bit of red dye inside of this water just to see how it looks. I could also add other cool things like the insides of a glow stick.
Honestly, one of the funnest things about this project is how much I can play with different things in the water or to do with the arcs of the tree. It's really adaptable and I can just mess around and see what I can do with it.
So just to mention again how this works, high voltage guitar amp, one lead is connected to the water, the other lead is connected to the tree itself. So much like a lot of my projects, the arc generator itself runs on drill batteries. So I want to make this thing look pretty cool for Halloween. So I'm going to add some dry ice and I'm going to make it using SodaStream. And if you guys want to see a video talking about how to make dry ice, just leave me something down in the comments, let me know.